Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Ali Simnad. I am the CTO for the Tech BU and Neurealm. And here, my partner in crime, Vikram Barate, who runs our innovative lab and research. In this conversation, we are trying to cover what is going on today when it comes into development and implementation of AI in software development. As we see, the journey started from a spec-driven, and now we are moving into the SDLC. So we see that the code generation has accelerated. But at the same time, that has created certain issues, such as lack of system thinking, such as fragmentation. So in this conversation, we are going to talk with Vikram, who himself and his team coming from a hands-on experimentation with different tools and different methodologies. We are not pushing or promoting any particular tool, even though part of the conversation would be around cloud, because that's what we see most of our customers and partners are using. And again, one unfair advantage that Vikram and his team have is that we are engaging with multiple customers and hundreds of AI-driven projects. So that gives us a better view of what's going on. And part of this conversation is to help and kind of open up what works and what doesn't work when it comes into implementing AI for code development. So let me pass it to Vikram. Vikram, thank you. I appreciate your time. So tell us, what do you see, and share some of the experimentation that you have done both at customers in real production as well as in the lab that can help any developers with their either choosing or using AI for code development.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you for setting the context. Yes, we are working with hundreds of customers on multiple projects, and each customer using different AI tool and at a different stage of AI journey. And we are playing a key role in this journey for the last 1.5 years, where we have seen the multiple AI tools got introduced to handle multiple methodologies. The way we saw it started was the AI tools were assistant for the engineers, and today engineers are assistant for the AI tools, and that's a transition that we have seen. So Copilot, Cursor pretty much started like assistant, but eventually the new tools like BMAT, SpecKit, those got introduced. We started spec-driven engineering, where the tools started playing the roles. But later on, as the models became more strong on the code and developed reasoning, we started writing the agents. So more than assistant, then we identify the white spaces wherein like, okay, PR cycle is taking a lot of time, or QA automation is taking a lot of time. Then we just identify those areas, making those more autonomous with help of AI by writing the agents. And now we are at a stage wherein Cloud has got a very interesting methodology, wherein we can consolidate all the ways that we identify so far under one umbrella and make it more autonomous and more intent-driven going forward.
Great. So if you could share some of the findings, some of those, what I call the nuggets of when you're using these codes, these tools to generate codes. For example, how do you make sure that you have a orchestration in the picture? Because one of the things we see, these are very segmented. You have a tool for writing code, another tool for QA, another tool for documentation and everything. How do you make sure that these are not working in silos? How do you make sure that there is an orchestration overall? How do you make sure that you see the benefits of your investment? How do you measure and not measure as one piece, but as kind of looking at from a system perspective?
Thanks. That's very nice question. We have seen the tools got introduced initially for engineering, specifically for the development. The development cycle accelerated, but what about the rest of the cycles? Product management cycle, QA cycle, release cycle, SRE cycle, PR cycle. So, I mean, you cannot just accelerate one part. You have to accelerate the entire engine. and then multiple tools started playing the role. That you can have multiple tools got introduced, but the way exactly you said, we need to orchestrate it, and that is where the tools like MCP came in picture. But MCP gave the connectivity to these tools through LLM, and this is where we came up with a framework new again, wherein we connect all those tools together and run the orchestra for executing entire SDLC. Now the same methodology can be implemented very smoothly and in standardized way in cloud, wherein you can have all those tools coming together and executing autonomously, like the way we do in new gain. Exactly same methodology can be done into cloud now. Along with these tools, now another challenge that we have seen is, okay, you got the AI tools in place, you got those integrated, you got a way to orchestrate those, but how are you going to measure? And that is where there's a next piece that needs to be implemented, wherein you need to collect the matrices across all those tools, all the execution steps, and infer some meaning out of them for how well this tool is being utilized. Where are the areas the tools are not properly utilized? There are still white spaces, and those matrices can be collected and analytics can be made on top of that.
Yeah, those white spaces that you mentioned, because the tendency is that you go after the cool parts that everybody's talking about, the tools, the coding, the agents. But then there are those areas that are not as prominent and sometimes ignored. And they can have a major impact in the overall performance of the system. Any thought on some of those white spaces?
Yeah, so 6 months ago, I was looking at one SDLC cycle for one customer.
Mhm.
The tool was introduced, code was getting generated very fast, but PR was a blocker. It was still a manual cycle, and I mean you can go as fast as the slowest link, and that was the issue. So for those kind of pieces which are very specific to the customer's environment, their own SDLC, their own evolved agile methodology and toolings, we write
Mhm.
customized agents for them, which handles that particular piece of white space or that blocker. And we it's not only that's an industry way now to implement those pieces as an agent, wherein PR cycle eventually we'll use some tool to handle the
Mhm.
PRs, the vulnerability checks, and all those things, but it will be autonomous. And you write a agent on top of that to make sure those tools, those cycles, those steps, those are being handled autonomously. And at an appropriate point, you have human in the loop, and humans are invoked by the agent.
So if I want to kind of summarize it, by the way, we are trying to keep these conversations short. Everybody is busy, so we want to condense things in a very short period of time. So if I wanted to kind of summarize our conversation and keep me honest here. So one is that the change we see from AI be the assistant to the engineer, now the engineer is the assistant to AI, right? That's one thing. What sometimes people call it human in the loop. We believe that should be there. I don't think we believe in completely go into autonomous agent driven without having the human in the work. That's one thing. Second, make sure that simply adding AI to your existing processes, what I call adding AI magic dust, is not going to help you unless you look at it from a system perspective, unless you make sure that you have the right orchestration tools, and more importantly, the system thinking, not just tool thinking, but the system thinking. So if you have these three things in place, that can help you to take to the next level. Did I summarize it correctly? Anything else you wanted to add, Vikram?
Yeah, I will like to add the tools are pretty strong now. With the Claude specifically, agent skill kind of methodology, way of orchestrating, way of making it autonomous is more strong. I think less and less human in the loop is okay, and that we are going to see that more going forward, and more human playing the role for driving the intents kind of scenario, and give rest everything relying pretty much on the tools to execute. Very soon
Mm,
we'll see the scenarios. The way I will put it is tools are there. our methodologies and our acceptance or use of those tools is still not there.
Very good. Again, we are going to have these continue conversations with new subjects. So if you have a questions, if you need any assistance, by all means, please contact us. Our contact information would be below the video. And also tell us what other subjects would you like to hear. We have a list, but also we want to hear from you. Again, Vikram, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next sessions. Thank you.